No, absolutely not. If they're not producing, out straight away. Alrighty guys, we are just finished up with a management meeting here in Enniskillen in County Fermanagh. So we take some of these lodges, we jump into the gym, into the pool early in the morning, and then management meeting here at our locations in Enniskillen. So right, today absolutely slaughtered today with operator's licence jobs. What else after that? We have 2 court files, 2 prosecution files, we have a DVSA interview, we have 2 DVA interviews. Yeah, listen, there's a pile of stuff to go back to here. So what I might try and do is record some of the information in the office. It may be a bit boring for people, if not, but you have to understand what's happening here in the background in regards to transport compliance, health and safety, business, risk mitigation. Go from here, we have to pop into Curry's to see can we get any more tripods from some of these cameras, and then yeah, what an absolutely beautiful morning. Fresh, cold. It was -1 this morning, but frost was good. The last clip might have showed me driving up to Curry's, and of course they're open at 10 o'clock. No, 9 o'clock's far too early for people. So they open at 10 o'clock. I landed here just before that, not open, so I went and done my third job second, and I've come back round here. Now I'm absolutely dreading going into Curry's, because no matter what Curry's in the United Kingdom, Ireland, I don't know if they're in the south, wherever else they are, you will barely, if any time, get anybody who knows what they're talking about at all. And I understand it's only, retail people, as in, when I say only retail people, it's, people just on the floor, but they've no product knowledge or anything, and it's so disappointing when you go into these companies. And I have to run in here to buy a couple of tripods for our media team, and I can get them online a lot cheaper, and online, the people typing back to you online will know what they're talking about. In here, nobody will have one clue what I'm talking about, and they will pretend to, and then they will tell you some crap you don't need. So anyway, that's a bit of a rant for this morning. I just don't get it. Right, let's go into Curry's, let's get soul destroying, let's shout at a couple of people because they don't know what they're talking about, but they want to charge stupid prices. So yeah, I kind of know them in here, so they know to leave me alone or come and help me one another. Right, forward. Well now, there you go. Nobody knows nothing. They have about 3 tripods in the whole place, but nothing with GoPro. You have to order online. And what kind of tripod? Try to explain it, showed a picture of it. They know nothing. Absolutely nothing. 7 staff standing round 1 pallet. Just move on. This is what's wrong with life. This is exactly what's wrong with the world. I don't get it. Anyway. Where are we this week, or what is happening? So we are absolutely everywhere as usual. I think we, first of all, deal with a couple of senior management meetings in the morning times. Then we are at our executive management offices dealing with just the usual yard situations that we have with clients and customers and even staff, from our transport and logistic company to our investigation division to our tachograph analysis division, and a number of detained vehicles this week, again for no operator's licence, some for running on other people's operators' licences. We have 2 tachograph fraud cases. I think we have, 2 overweight offences, we have insecure load offences, we have just the usual every week that comes in. We are then out on site to download tachographs for a particular company who, it's actually a bad, I might have mentioned them before, but we do all their full transport operations service. We provide transport managers, we look after tachograph analysis, their route planning, their drivers, their driver training, all compliance issues. And then I think after that we are up doing continuity fleet inspections with a client out in the Belfast direction. So that's what's happening at the moment within this vlog. So stay tuned, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment, don't leave a comment, just do something, and hopefully enjoy the video. Anyway, that's all. Whew. Alrighty, folks, it is absolutely freezing. Just out in the yard, dealing with a couple of things, and then we will raise you up or down on the office table. Good job. Right, so just in one of our offices, HQ, or EMOs as we call them, executive management offices, and absolute pile of work here to do. A couple of issues outside to deal with, a couple of our vehicles. We have 1, 2, 3. We have 3 client vehicles in 4 remote downloading fitment, tracking fitment. We have 1 with tail lift loader testing, and then 2 safety inspections as well. So guys are dealing with that. We have another 2 guys coming back this evening, which hopefully I'll get footage with. We have the lock-in company card. It's one that we run through our own transport operation services. So we manage their whole transport operation, from the compliance, the operator's license, the transport management, the tachograph maintenance, etc., etc. So they're coming in with 2 new vehicles, 2 hired vehicles. We have to lock in the company card. We have to download the driver information. We have to then send out the compliance forms to the drivers, induct them, driver assessments, all that good stuff. So time is ticking on here badly. So yeah, I'm going to try and get settled in here to the office for an hour or 4, and then I'll speak to you about operator license. Righty guys, so I have a couple of Teams calls, Zoom calls to jump onto, and then we'll get back here at the moment. Alrighty folks, it is absolutely freezing. So what's happened today, I might have discussed earlier on this morning, we have guys out all over the place, from transport compliance audit, operator license jobs, health and safety inspections and audits, forklift training, material handling training, we have driver assessments, we have facilities management. I'm going to break these services down for you all, because we're constantly asked for more detail on our services, and what really surprises me is the fact that we have so many clients that end up saying to us, we didn't know you done that. So it's obviously some guys do and some guys don't. How could I start this off with breaking it down? So we have a number of services, but we have 4 sort of client base levels. We have your basic level, which is the likes of basic tachograph analysis. We also have what we call the open door client, which is people who just phone us and email us and come through the door, which is that just never stops. But we have our basic tachograph analysis clients, where we conduct analysis on all your tachograph data from your driver card, your vehicle units, generate infringement reports, driver card reports, driver infringements, notifications of vehicles overdue download, drivers overdue download, and all onto the dashboard through the main servers. So that's all cloud computed and cloud based. We partner up with a number of companies for that. We have our own tachograph pad as well, in conjunction with Compliance Pad, which is our global changing software powered by Group Technologies, which is another company of ours. Then we have our tachograph management client, and that's a client where we do all of the tachograph management. We deal with all the infringements, all the data, all the drivers, any roadside stops or issues, any court procedures, expert witness support, legal representation. We do all that on a tachograph management client. Then we have a TC client, a transport consultant client, which is a monthly fee, and we just look after the operator's license. Any issues that come up throughout the year, you actually get in straight away. So what's the point? Sorry, these emails they're not stopping here. With live chats as well. I can't show you too much on these screens here, guys, really. But everything's digitalized. So for guys in England and Europe and everywhere, just bang on instant messenger through a number of portals that we have, and we can take video calls straight on. I'm also watching tracking on this side here. I'm watching guys clock in, clock off jobs, arrival times, all that jazz. Anyway, a TC fee, transport consultant's fee, is where we are named transport consultant on your operator's license, and we deal with all operator's license compliance. We deal with anything that pops up during the year. Now remember guys, I have had so many issues with people saying to me, why can you not take me on? Why can you not get that booked in? Depends on what level you sit at. If you are a basic tachograph analysis client, you will get your time slot allocated per week. If you are a TC client, then you will get your backup booked in among anybody else. So if we're sitting with jobs booked out for 2 or 3 months and a TC client of ours phones with an issue, then we allocate staff immediately to that job, and then it's booked in, and then we deal with it and run with it within the rolling period. If you are a CCA client, which is a continuous compliance auditing client, well then same thing applies. You get dedicated remote support every week, and then you get on-site support either every week, bi-weekly, which is every 2 weeks, monthly, or every 3 months maximum. But the 3 months we don't try and deal with them anymore because it's too long of a period. And then we have our affiliate client, and our affiliate client is we just manage everything from start to finish, from their transport compliance, their health and safety, their HR, their insurances, their facilities management, everything from start to finish. So we allocate staff to that account every day of every week, of every month, of every year. So listen, damn good service that we have with that. And it's growing and growing and growing. We seem to have a lot of clients who will go through the levels. So they might start off as a basic analysis client, and then they'll move up to a TC client and then become a CCA client, and then they'll move on to an affiliate client. Now, the only issue is we have to authorise and approve who we take on. As a lot of people know, we're famous in the industry for termination. We terminate clowns all the time, so-called companies that shouldn't be in the industry, shouldn't be in business, shouldn't be doing it. We had a recycling clown not that long ago, and I just do not know how morally, if nothing else, their health and safety is non-existent. I mean non-existent. Don't worry about the transport compliance, that's non-existent, non-compliant. But he came to us, we sort the problems out, and then he came back whinging about whatever he whinged about. I don't know, so nobody phoned him back, whatever the crack was. But a lot of these companies only want a box ticket exercise. We don't do that. That's not the way we run. So obviously then we jogged him on, he would away somewhere else, and he's been back on the phone regularly because he can't get anybody to do what we do at the level that we do it at. And that's okay, but why would we take him back on when we have, clients beating down the door to get onto our schedule? So listen, it's not all about the big companies. It's not all about the money. A lot of big companies, there's a lot of large companies we don't like working for because they've no ethics around the company, they've no morals, they've no values. Everything's just a box ticking exercise. Now, as Ireland, UK and Europe's leading expert witness, I can't afford reputational to get involved with these clients. But anyway, guys, we have 6 divisions that deal with all this, and this is only with TCTS Group. So I'll come back to you shortly, and we'll look at a bit of information here on the screen. Righty guys, so just have a quick call with a legal firm who there's a bit of a dispute regarding the renewal of an operator's license for one of their clients. They've come on to me to take a look at this to see what the problem is. Now, the problem is all regarding financial standing. Now, I don't know why people don't understand this, but financial standing is access to finance, and it's an average. Okay, so I'm going to give you a very, very quick example here, and we will put up a detailed video on this at some stage. So going through the past 3 months bank statements, so no later than 2 months before the date of your application that has been submitted is where the bank statements will sit at for the regulators to take it into consideration. So this guy here for 15 vehicles, so we need £70,300 altogether. Remember, it's £8,000 for the first vehicle and £4,450 for additional vehicles. This is for an international operator's license. Now, I'm going to I think of everything else off the screen. So if you can see this here, so we need £70,300 access to finance. So I've taken his October statement, for example. So we're going to start off here with the closing balance, which is £83,250. He thinks that's great, there's no problem. We then go back 27 days to the closing balance of 27 days beforehand, which is £25,450 from the statement, and then the two highest in the middle. One was 36,847, and the next highest is 71,200. And at this stage, he thinks this is fantastic because he is, 80 grand, he's 70 grand, he's above the threshold. However, his average here, if you can see, is only 54,186. So this, my friend, is the problem with financial statin. It's an average taken from the closing balance back 27 days, so it's a 28-day balance. And where a lot of people get caught out is that they might look at, say, the 4th of the month, and it could have, great money in it, but the balance at the end of that day. So I have seen here in this instance, for example, there's £71,200 at the end of one day. I think it's the 7th of the month, but there's been 6 payments through in that date, so it has to go by the closing balance of that date. So yes, he had 71,200 at the start of that day, but there's been transactions in the middle of the day, so his end closing balance was down to about 36 grand. So when we average that out, guys, that's a very simple fix that we'll work with the solicitor and get that sorted out. He doesn't have an overdraft on that account. However, they do have another business account with a savings account of £500,000 in it, so there's no problem getting this over the line for financial statin. Anyway, that's what financial statin's all about, guys. Why financial statin? Well, that's a good question. Financial statin really is there only for maintenance of vehicles. It doesn't necessarily cover your MOT and your tax and your insurance and things like that. It's for maintenance only. It's so you can afford good tyres. If a blowout in the tyre, of course, you have the financial means of repairing it and maintaining it. If you have issues with steering, suspension, etc., then you have the financial means. Years and years ago, we used to go to court. Somebody would say, plead, God love me, I've had 2 blowouts this week and I can't afford to put good tyres on it, and they run about with poor tyres. That really is where it all changed and got more and more in depth to this. But it's access to finance. Not to say that this man needs to have £70,300 sitting there in the bank account, but he needs access to finance readily available. All right, so it can be done a number of ways, guys. It can be done through due accounts. It can be put in investment from directors. It can be an overdraft on the account, but the overdraft has to be activated. It can be separate credit cards. It can be whatever way that you have access to finance. But ask yourself the question, why is the operator you're using so cheap? Why? It's not that they're just the guys that are more expensive are wanting more money. They have to put these in place for their operational activity. For example, DVS standards, direct vision standards, going in around London with these new cameras and all, they've made a complete mess of it. Guys have kitted vehicles out anywhere between 5 and 10 grand per vehicle, and now them cameras are no good anymore. They don't meet the standards, which is just crazy. So all these costs and still the price of transporting product hasn't really moved. So if you're an operator out there, as in a business or a manufacturing business, and you're using transport operators, look at the bigger picture, because it's not as easy as you think. Right, let's move on here. Right, I have to jump on a Zoom call regarding another set of new offices that we're opening. So it never stops. So I'll speak to our operations director and see how's he getting on with that project. And then we'll fill you in. We might even get you down around a look at the office spaces before we do the refurb, or chances are probably not. Anyway, we move. Alrighty folks, what an absolute beautiful morning. Start off at -4, it's down to about -2 now, but the sun is coming out. Right, absolutely freezing, but beautiful morning. Right, up at one of our yards here, we have this little lady in for tachograph analysis, so we're going to jump in and lock in the company yard and all the usual crack. So let me see what I can say about this. So this here, guys, is driver company card, alright? So it's a digital card, a bit like a driver card, only in yellow. So if we look at the cards itself, the digital cards, we have a white card, which is a driver digi card. We have a yellow card, which is a company card. We have a red card, which is a workshop card. And then we have a blue card, which is an enforcement card. Now, question that I always get asked when I'm out on site with maintenance providers is they say, surely we can use the workshop card for driving the vehicle on test drives and driving around the yard and things. The answer is no. A workshop card is only for an approved tachograph calibration and inspection centre. And that's what they have to be fit to lock in and get layer 3 security of the tachograph unit. So no, a workshop card doesn't mean maintenance, an ordinary maintenance workshop. It means tachograph calibration centre. You get me? Right, so we're going to jump in here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock this company card in, lock it into the vehicle, and then I'm going to do a download of the vehicle unit, and then I'm going to do a download of the driver's card, and then I'm going to transfer it onto our analysis program. This here is a hire vehicle, and therefore we aren't going to fit a remote downloader in it at the moment until the new vehicle comes, so that'll be all good news. Off this job I have to go to another site, which is one of our sites and one of our trucks for our transport company, Transport Logistics Services Limited. It's the same story. I'm going to have to lock it into our company card, do a download of the vehicle unit, do a download of 2 driver cards, transfer it onto our analysis portal. We have drivers coming in for driver assessment today and driver induction. We do all their compliance forms and all their checks, their tachograph checks, their driver's hours checks, their license checks, the right to works check, all the usual. And they're only doing 2 or 3 weeks first, and then we will, that hire vehicle will be going back. So what is the point I'm trying to say here, guys, is that even if you have a vehicle on your license from the very start, whether it's brand new, don't worry about this old day 30-day rule crap that people talk about, because it's digitalized now on your online's VOL, your vehicle operator's license. You can put that vehicle on at any stage, and you must put it on at any stage. You just go on, click add vehicle, stick the vehicle on. Very easy. But what you have to be very careful of is to make sure that you lock in the company card to the company that owns the operator's license. You get me? Right, let's go. Alrighty guys, so we're in the vehicle here now, and we're going to lock in company card, and then we are going to use the downloading equipment, which we use DigiVU, and we're going to put in the VU key. Now, one thing I want to highlight here, guys, is we deal with a hell of a lot of transport managers who actually don't do this. They don't even know what they're doing. They know and understand the basics of what they're meant to be doing, however, they don't do it. So as I said, I think in the last clip, your VOL allows you to input and put on that vehicle 24/7, 365. And people will tell you this 30-day rule of 14 days and all this bull crap. Nay. Remember, your insurance now needs your operator's license stated on the insurance. So therefore, your vehicle must be listed on an operator's license. If the person's wearing a Scania jacket, Volvo jacket, DAF jacket, do not listen to them taking pints. This is the way it has to be done. Now, how are people getting caught out? How are we dealing with so many offences and so many cases with DVSA and DVA transport enforcement? Well, it's because the vehicle is being stopped, and when the stopping officer puts their control card in and downloads the vehicle, they can see clearly that that vehicle has been driven for a period of time without the relevant company card locked in. So, I get back to the point, guys. How your vehicle comes onto your fleet. You think, I've been chatting to associations about it, and they say, let it run for 30 days, don't worry. Okay, say you're going to do that, and the vehicle's out in the road, and there's no company card locked in. That is proving that you haven't downloaded the vehicle unit. So there you're not checking, is the tachograph working? Is there a manipulation device fitted? You're not downloading the driver card to ensure their driver's hours are compliant before they start the job, etc, etc. It just creates a world of trouble for no reason. So this vehicle's in, it's going to be in hire for a couple of weeks. It will be locked in straight away. It will get a safety inspection before it's put onto the road. Remember, guys, your safety inspection frequency of your license starts at day number 1 and then on to your 6, 8, 10 or 12 weeks. And don't think that you get a vehicle and then 12 weeks later, if your frequency is 12 weeks, that you're going to inspect it 12 weeks later. You know, as I said, it was so stupid. Basic questions, the basic principle. But there's never a stupid question, there's only a stupid answer. And as I say, you know, my main saying to people is, if you don't know, you don't know. Hence why we exist. Hence why we're the leading transport compliance company through Northern Ireland, Southern Ireland and Europe. This is why we deal so much. This is why we're 28 years at this high level, because it's for protection and support and reassurance for you, the operator. Right, guys? Public inquiries, actually, just on that. There's a massive tailback in public inquiries at the minute, and as I said to the regulators, they're going to come at us with, I know, 3 or 4 months solid every day. I have to give court availability for nearly 6 months of next year. So yeah, there's a big backlog on it, and you know, companies shouldn't be going to public inquiry, shouldn't be going in chambers hearings, shouldn't be getting DVA transport enforcement interviews, but they are. Anyway, let's sort this problem out. Righty, guys, let me see. Same crack as a digi card. We're going to put the chip up face down, as we say on an ordinary card. We're going to let it suck in, and it's going to come up then with the company name. It's transferring the data over. I just don't want you to see the company name for this guy. So it's putting up the name of the company and it's transferring the data over. Now, the saying, they ask the question, company lock-in. Okay, so it's automatically, because it is a video, it is automatically locked the company card in, and you can see from up here that the card has transferred and it's in place. So what we're going to do is, there's a wee bucket here. If we open this wee portal, geez, I get that -2 here, my fingers are frozen, absolutely freezing here. So I'm going to, the company card is inserted, and now I'm going to take out my VU key and I got it inserted into the slot. Okay, so we're going to, green light is on, come off to the amber light. Remember, guys, ensure that your ignition is on when you're doing this. So there's a wee pictogram at the top between the time and the symbol for a company card. It's spinning away as it's downloading. You'll see that happening on the remote downloading as well as you're driving along, if anybody ever wonders why that is. And we're going to pull the date off the tachograph unit, and then we're going to download the company card. Stand by. Right, guys, so I'm waiting for that to download. Obviously there's nobody just sitting in the cab. First thing we're going to have to check, we're going to have to ensure that the tachograph calibration is in date. So this vehicle was calibrated on the 26th of January 2023. So therefore the calibration is due 2 years after that, calibration and inspection for a digital tachograph. The walking around the vehicle itself, now obviously we're vehicle examiners and forensic examiners, so our inspection might be more in depth than anybody else's. However, take a look at the condition of the vehicle. Now, for example, these nylon wheel nut indicators are fitted to the vehicle. Now, Anybody that's ever came to any of my training courses, I'm not a fan of them whatsoever. They're a good enough idea. However, it makes the driver lazy. It makes the maintenance provider lazy, because if they look as if they're on, they're on. Remember, most wheel detachment comes from loose wheels, not loose wheel nuts. And that's hard for some people to understand. But when a wheel comes loose from its matting face, you have a steel on steel rubbing, and it elongates the hole in the rim, and then the rim comes out over the top of the wheel nut. So over the years, the amount of wheel detachment jobs that I've went to, and to be fair, mainly buses and coaches, but the jobs that I've went to over the years, it has been, you know, the weight's been still on it, the wheel nut's been still on it, the nylon pointer's been still on it, but the hole in the rim has got that big that has come out over the top of the wheel nut. Now, I'm just looking at this vehicle very quickly here live, okay, so we'll see them 2 nylon pointers there seem to be well lined up, and you see these 2 nylon pointers here, which are actually off. I don't see any other signs of loose wheel nut there, but we'll stick a torque wrench on it anyway, just in case, just to make sure. Waiting for this to be downloaded, so let's see how we're getting on. So we can see straight away that green light means we're good to go. So green light on the downloader. And what we're going to do is we're going to pop out the download key, stick it into the laptop and do a transfer of data. Alrighty, so we're just simply going to take the key out. We're going to close over our download portal, and we're then just going to eject the card. Now, it's asking here, do we want to lock out the company card? If I wanted to say yes, for example, that we weren't going to use this vehicle anymore, but we are going to keep it locked in, so I do not want to lock it out. So the question is, do you want to lock out company card? My answer is no. I'm going to press OK, and then it will spit out the card. I'm going to download the driver card. So obviously with the DigiVU, and we're partnered up with Tachograph, who make, show you this here, Tachograph, who make some of the best tachograph analysis products, as in hardware, about. We're going to then enter the key back into the DigiVU itself. We're going to click it in to make sure all's good, and now all we're going to do is we're going to insert the driver card into the slot. So I want to just make sure you don't see the driver's face. So you'll see a wee blue light on that side, it's starting to flash, and on the other side you'll see the amber light. This will then turn green once the download is complete, and that flashing blue light will be solid. With a tick-tock there. Okay, so as you can see, the key light is green and the download light is solid blue. So therefore we just eject. I'm making this very simple looking, guys, because it's so destroying when I have to go to court and public inquiries, get themselves in a world of trouble just because of a lack of non-compliance. If you don't know, you don't know, absolutely, but then unfortunately there's guys that do know and just can't do it or won't do it. Morning.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Good, good.
Oh, freezing this morning, hey?
It's very cold, yeah.
Freezing this morning. Right, what are we up to today? We're on site here to do continuity fleet inspections on a client of ours fleet, tractor units, trailers, whatever's in the yard. Now, one thing I'll say about this is the highest level of competency that a transport manager can use, and this is when you know the competency of a transport manager. This is an unannounced continuity fleet inspection. Nobody knows we're coming apart from the transport manager. We're going to randomly select vehicles that's in the yard, and we're going to do what's classed as a roadside technical inspection on tractor units and trailers. So people always ask me, well, how do you know a good transport manager compared to a transport manager that's just ticking the boxes? This is a perfect example. Health and safety are the same, driver assessments are the same, random checks of tachographs are the same, so putting this control measure in place is top class. Right, we're going to high-vis vest up, get our check site up and going, and many vehicles, Mark? Four to be done in a row first of all, so we'll get kicked off here, get our health and safety protocols in, and boom, where we go. Right, alrighty guys, another beautiful freezing cold morning here in Belfast. According the vehicles are going to be moved into our designated check site. I don't even have to tell you what vehicle that is, can you hear it? So what the radio down there for copyright. So what Mark's at here, Mark, pull that up there, just show the guys out of scope mode. Alrighty, so Mark has it out of scope mode. Going to pull these vehicles into the check site, and then we're going to do a continuity inspection because there's a roadside technical inspection on the vehicle. The door of this van I'm not happy with, but here it's a working environment, so stand by. Tachograph calibration, we'll just put this in the video at this stage here, Mark, to give anybody that might know this just a bit of knowledge. So during inspection, whether it's your fleet inspections or even your driver daily walk around check, we want to ensure first of all that the aspect ratio of the tachograph is compatible to the drive axle. So in this configuration we have a 3-axle tractor unit. We have a mid lift, means that middle axle lifts off the ground, back axle is the drive axle, so we have a dual drive axle. What we're going to look at over here, tachograph calibration flag. We want to make sure it's in date. So it was done in February 2023. We add on 2 years for a digital tachograph inspection or calibration. Now the next thing we're looking for here is tyre size. She should be on 315/70 on a 22.5 inch rim. Will be up in the tachograph. That's what, when we do a VU technical printout, we check all that beside each other. Now what does that mean? Follow me. That means here that on our drive axle, we must ensure that the tyre size is correct. So down here you can see we have 315/70 on an R 22.5 inch rim. Okay, that's number one. Next wee bit of advice here, because this is stuff that we've had on the roadside, media prohibitions or accident investigation work. We want to go back here, we want to make sure that we have the correct load index on each tyre. So that's the load rating of the tyre with the full load on it. So up in here, we're going to go with the chassis plaque. We can see that axle number 1 is, what's that, Mark? 8,000 kg.
Yep.
On the track unit, what axle number 2?
7.5.
And 3?
11.5.
11.5. Okay. What we'll do is we'll pull up the tyre load index rating. It's bloody freezing out here just for the way. Is that camera dirty? What about now? Has it not made any difference?
Doesn't look any better, no. Doesn't look any better.
I go home being insulted. You know, I was thinking the other day too, hey, right? Natalie was saying 2 of my major flaws, of 2 major flaws, right? 1 is that I don't listen, and 2, I don't know, something else. Right, axle number 1. So what do we say, they're 8,000?
8,000, yeah.
So we're just going to run here off any of the load index you can get, guys. I usually run with the government one because it's from the horse's mouth. So can you see this in the camera? So we have dual and we have single. So we're going to look for single. We're going to look for 8,000, and on 8,000, which is an 8-ton axle, we need 156 or above on that tyre rating. So if we come down here, of course it's going to be at the bottom for this particular example, and you can see that we have 156 or 150 on its dual. So 156 tyre rating, again 315/70. Okay, so it's very important to check this, guys, because some of the axles come out 9-ton. I've seen 7-ton axles, 7.5-ton axles, and you must ensure that this is correct. Can you rely on your tyre company? No, not all the time. And I'll tell you why. There's numerous reasons. It could be a breakdown. So from safety inspection to safety inspection, let's say you're running 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks. You could have a blowout, you could have a defect in a tyre, and some of the guys might come out, they don't have the experience and stick a tyre on, or else we've had issues where they've changed the tyre, notified the transport manager or maintenance or compliance manager, and they have done nothing about it and is running about with the incorrect tyre on it. So that's an example of axle 1. Now for the aspect ratio here of the tachograph, we're going to now check axle 3, which the chassis plaque said 11.5 ton, 11,500 kg. We're now going to go to the drive axle and check this as well. Now important word when I use drive axle, because if this was a rear tag, as in was a rear left axle, well then the drive axle would be the middle axle. So in this particular configuration, the drive axle is axle number 3. So what do we say there, Mark? It's 11.5.
Yeah.
But this time we're going to go for a dual, and if we go to this side for the dual rating, and we'll scroll down here till we get 11,500, and as you can see we have 11,200 or 11,600, so we need to go for the 11.6, and that's telling me on a dual we need a 145 or above. So if we go down to this particular tyre, we will see that we have 154 or 150 for a dual. Is that picked that up okay?
Yep.
Right guys, that's just there's loads of things we could talk about, and we'll try and do as many videos as we can, but as I say, from an inspection roadworthiness point of view, this is where it's at. Right, let's go. Alrighty folks, so I don't know where we are in this vlog, but it's absolutely freezing. What's happened today here? So we have myself out here on site, 3 sites to do this morning with fleet safety inspections. So we're on site in Belfast doing this. I have another job run out to Mallusk to do a drop in on some of our vehicle inspectors that's out there, and then in Craigavon on the way back down the road. Mark, our group operations director, he's out doing spot checks and some of our APAs are delivering driver CPC training, forklift training, material handling, and also a health and safety audit. So he will go around and do that. Then he'll run in England next week and do the same Team for some of our GB ones. So it's all about continuity. So how do we, as I keep saying, who polices the police? So we have a couple of independent transport compliance audits coming up in the next week or two, where we will have people out on site auditing the auditor, because obviously this box taking exercise just ain't working. Right, let's get up and go and examining it and making sure it's in roadworthy condition at all times. Let's go. Tractor a little bit. Right, folks, we are going to end this week's vlog here. We are down in Wicklow. I'm trying to get the nerve up to do a cold water dip this morning. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys. It's so appreciated. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment. Don't leave a comment, just do something. Thank you very much for your support, and share the link. Share videos around the place. If you want to see more, leave comments down below of what you want to see, and we'll try and make the videos as entertaining as we can. Anyway, time to get cold. That is all.
I've been a real bad boy on the town all night.